Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. You know, we have the 2024 Tacoma coming, and I was thinking, in looking at the pictures and some videos and things that I've seen of it, what are the common mods that we typically do with the third gen Tacoma that we're not going to be able to do potentially with the next generation Tacoma, or maybe some that we are. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to jump right in. And the first thing that we have to address, of course, is that ugly in the way air dam. Now, it's not going to be on every model, of course. This is a rendering of what the Pro would look like, I guess, before we had the real picture. And you notice it doesn't have anything under here. But if you look at the Sport, look at this massive hunk of plastic under here. Now, there's good news about that, because a lot of people, like me, when I've had Tacomas that have had that air dam, have removed it. It seems, from reports on the internet, if you can believe that 8 screws will remove that. In other words, you can pull it off. So you can still get a good front look, if you will, without having that air dam down there. Next up, let's talk about mirror covers. Now, this isn't one, I suppose, that's so common, but if you're like me, I like to change these. I like them to be black, like I have on this Tacoma. It does appear, if you look at the pictures anyway, like it is still a cap on there. You'd still be able to pull it off. Now, beyond just changing the color of the cap, there is something more common, and that's the side markers or the turn signals. A lot of folks have put the sequential turn signals in, like I've done here. Mine are blacked out, you can see right here. That does appear to be something that we're still going to be able to do. So that's good news. Now, this next one doesn't look so good. Let's talk about the front bumper. Obviously, I have changed the bumper out on mine, did a little bit of cutting, simple bolt on, not really a big deal. Pretty easy to do. Got an LED light in there, put some D-rings in the front. Looks pretty good, in my opinion. Of course, there are tons of aftermarket bumper options for the Tacoma, but if you look at the new one, I don't know where you'd put a bumper. Maybe you'd rip this center section out, remove this lower cover here, put some kind of a massive bumper on the front, because if you look at this, it's pretty darn big. Picture it without the air dam down there, and you can see how much you're dealing with across here. Not to mention, you've got the fog lights built in here. So I'm thinking probably not going to be any real good options. There probably will be options, but they're going to be massive and, frankly, a little bit ugly on the front of the truck, I think. You know, I'm not looking really for a massive addition to the front of mine. So it looks to me like we're not going to have that option anyway. Next up, the front grille. Probably one of the most popular mods that people do to the current generation Tacoma. It's very simple to do, 4 little holders or whatever, and you just simply pull it off. Couldn't be any easier. Now, with the new one, it's a lot more integrated in here, it looks like. And I'm not really so much talking about what you see here, the centerpiece. I'm talking about the way that it's attached to all the rest of these plastic pieces here. Now, recently, I had the Toyota Tundra. It was a 2024, and I thought I would change that insert out like I've done before. If you look up here, there is an old carcass up there from one I had taken off previously. And the way that one was, you just pull the front off and you took the hood bulge off the top, replaced it to go to a different color or whatever. It was really pretty simple. Not with the new Tundra. The new Tundra, you had to take off the whole front fascia. All of this across here had to be removed because this centerpiece for the truck did not come off independently of all of this. Not something that I imagine a lot of weekend warriors are going to want to do, because you start to mess with clips over here, and who knows? I mean, you've got a vent here. I don't know what all is going to be under the new Tacoma, but I'm guessing it is going to be very similar in the way that it's held on as to the 2024 Tundra. So it looks to me like we are not going to be able to change this out easily. Now, I'll put a little caveat there. It can be done. It's just a matter of how much risk you want to take in removing all of that front fascia and the clips and everything else that go behind it. Next up, let's pop the hood. A favorite of mine has been the cold air intake. Obviously, it's very simple to do. This one is not technically a cold air intake, it's an open air intake. But it was very easy to do. You just unbolt the box, take the tube off, disconnect a couple of vacuum hoses and some wires. Very, very simple to do. With this new turbo version, I don't think it's going to be quite that easy. Yeah, matter of fact, may not be possible at all. And you start to mess around with the air inflow for the turbo itself, potentially. So not something that I think you're going to be able to easily do. I could be wrong, but I kind of doubt it. Next up, the hood struts. This is one that we definitely should still be able to do, right? I'm assuming, and this is pretty sure, I think, that the new Tacoma is probably not going to come with hood struts. For some reason, Toyota doesn't seem to put them on the Tacoma. Now, you will have bolt points or points that you can mount to underneath the hood. Even with these are the red line tuning version. You have to drill into the hood to put them on and sock some rivets in there rather. I'm sure there'll be an option, even if everything is rivets, that you can do with this new truck. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Next up, wheels and tires. Well, you're probably thinking this is a no-brainer. Obviously, you can put wheels and tires on anything you want, right? I mean, that's a pretty common thing. But the issue is going to be, we have the 4-cylinder turbo, and how much weight do you want to add to that truck by putting bigger and heavier tires on it? Potentially heavier wheels as well. You know, everything that you add to it is going to bog it down a little bit. And I know a big concern out there is the longevity of that 4-cylinder hauling around a bunch of weight if you use it for towing or hauling heavy things and stuff. Well, if you put heavier wheels and tires on it, you're going to be hauling those around all the time. Is that going to change the performance? Is it going to change the longevity of the truck? Who knows? Hard to tell. Lastly, the fog lights. You know, this is another big one that a lot of people do, including myself. Either go with some sort of a square version or black out what was there, smoke them, whatever. On the new truck, you can see they are integrated into this fascia piece or this front bumper area. Now, getting these out, it's going to be the same process as removing the rest of the grill area. You probably have to take this whole thing off. It'd be nice if Toyota makes this some way so that you can pop these out from the back or something. I mean, after all, they are lights and they will go bad eventually, but I don't know. They're LEDs, so the thought is they'll probably last forever and you're never going to have to change them. Even so, what kind of options are we going to have? I mean, you can pretty much go rectangular or rectangular. You know, that's about all you can do. The only thing I could see for these is possibly changing them to some sort of an amber color or putting some sort of an amber film over them to change the color of the lights themselves. So anyway, those are just a few common mods that a lot of us do to the Tacoma that may or may not be available or able to be done on this 2024 Tacoma. Leave a comment, let me know. Does it matter to you? Are you big time into mods and like to personalize your truck? Or who cares? I just drive it like it is and it doesn't really matter. Let me know, I'd be curious. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.